Okay, we're going to now take a 10-minute break. As likely, how long will yours? Short and sweet. Okay. Well, do you want to do it? Tell you what, do it now.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a break, and then the others will come through. So welcome along, and we're in your hands.
Morena everyone, lovely to see you. For those of you I've yet to have the pleasure to meet, my name's Amy Carter. I'm the Chief Executive of the Christchurch Foundation. This is my colleague Tom Mills, who is our CFO. He actually works for KPMG, but we use their capacity because it's global and a nice big brand. So I thought it would be useful for him to come along today as well in case you had any questions. You all have seen Linda's report, I'm taking it. So we're getting very close to the end of our establishment phase, which was generously underwritten by the Christchurch City Council, so thank you for that. I don't know if any of you have got any questions around any of that information. I know we're new to a number of you. Well, that's easy. I thought there's just a couple of things I wanted to highlight, if that's okay. The first one is just to congratulate you on what a success story for the Christchurch, in particular the Christchurch City Council, the Christchurch Foundation is. We've already repaid you 90% of the operational establishment funding that you gave us through grants that have gone on back into the council's balance sheet. And the funding that you gave us was for the first 6 years of our life, and as we're an organisation that's looking forward 100 years' time, I'm pretty sure that will be a net contributor to council over time, which is a great success story for something that you established, so congratulations for that. What's more, we're world leading, we are a city brand building entity, and we're growing your connections globally every day to expatriates, global funders and foundations. We are advising the New York Community Trust on their strategy. That's a multi-billion-dollar fund. We're working with Tel Aviv, Vancouver, the London Emergencies Trust. We are at the front of the curve for philanthropy globally, and that's something that came out of this entity you should be proud of. What's more, we can now measure and report on our impact. So we've developed a world-leading framework with an expert, the impact report, which is on our website, and I'm more than willing to sit and have a cuppa with any of you and talk you through this, that actually allows us to measure our activity and the positive impact that that has on a day-to-day basis for our citizens. And each year that will grow in depth and will show more and more value, which is really exciting. So it was just short and sweet, really. Our story is one that came out of the rubble of the earthquakes and is now helping make our place better. And our strategy for the future will be sent to you all directly in the next few weeks. We've just gone through a strategic planning process. I just wanted to flag that our chair, Humphrey Rolston, will be standing down at our April board meeting as part of a planned refresh project for our leadership. And we'll be appointing a new chair at that time from the new trustees. The new trustees that have recently joined our board are Anake Goodall, Annabelle Holland. We've also got an IOD emerging director, Marianne Matai, has joined our board as well as Deputy Mayor Pauline Cotter is your representative on our board, and Chairman Peter Scott is the other representative to ensure that Greater Christchurch has a voice at that table. Any questions around any of that?
Great, thank you very much, Amy. And we've added in, the council wanted to add in a resolution to acknowledge Humphrey's service as well, so that'll be in the resolutions. In terms of questions, does anyone have any questions for Yanni?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the work that you've done. Just wanted to get my head around the comment you made around the money going back to the council projects. Are you able maybe just to give us a quick snapshot of what projects?
Vastly, the majority of that has been money towards the operational funding of Turanga through the partnership agreements that we signed when we established the organisation. Right. So we had some funding agreements in place with Spark, South Base and TSB. Yeah. And that funding, some of that are under contracts for another 5 years, so by the completion of that. But also we've got donors that are already asking us to facilitate gifts. For example, we've got a small donor, the Canterbury Brewers Collective in Riverside Market. They have a karma cake every now and again, and $1 from every pint sold goes towards projects which we then use, and he's asked for those to facilitate the cleaning and upgrade of toilets in Magnet Bay and other bays around the peninsula. So that's just an example of how there's always little conversations going on.
Thanks.
We've also raised money for the Riccarton Bush Trust, and of course we help support Rod Donald Trust in its purchase of the 2 maonga on Banks Peninsula as well.
Yeah, good work on that. Just in terms of 3.6, in terms of the sponsorship funding for Tūranga for South Base and Spark has come to an end.
No.
No?
TSB, South Base and Spark has, yes.
Yeah, so what
TSB
happens,
continues for another 5 years.
So what happens there with things like naming rights and ongoing
It's up to
relationship?
the libraries team and the council. I mean, if you wanted to come to us and see if we had any donors that may be interested in that, we would be open to having those conversations.
Right.
Donor-led organisation.
Sure. So
We think of us as Tinder, where we match generosity to cool projects. That's the best way to describe it.
so that's on us now to work out what happens there.
But we're here to help. If you need some advice around that, we're happy to help.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
You said you had connections around the world in different cities. Can you elaborate on this?
So we've set up a charitable entity in the United Kingdom. Its benefit is to benefit Greater Otatahi Christchurch as well. So we've already facilitated $480,000 back to the rebuild of the Christchurch Cathedral, for example. And our engagement program for this year kicks off next week with we're hosting an event with Alexandra Shackleton, who's Ernest Shackleton's granddaughter, talking about the links between our city as a bit of a fundraiser for a project that we're working on. We're working on a new initiative, which is through the Sister City Committee, which is a collaboration between ourselves and the Seattle Aquarium, which is to run a youth-initiated conservation program called Ocean Bridge, where we bring Indigenous people as well as youth together, empower them to make change and take action around climate, in particular ocean healthiness, and that allows us to talk to our expatriates there, and our intention is to register as a US charity as well, subject to funding, so that allows us to tax incentivise giving for expatriates back here. Yeah.
And
Good job though.
with the cities, what cities are involved around the world?
Well, the Sister City Committee at the moment, so we're targeting particular areas where there's expatriate community of scale, obviously. So our outreach program is already live in London. We also run an annual event at the original Hagley House, which is where the Viscount of Cobham, Lord Christopher Littleton, his ancestors were some of the funders of the European settlement of Christchurch. So he's gifted us access to his home once a year to run a barbecue and a Kiwi backyard cricket game on the front lawn as a way to engage and continue to grow our strengths with those original European founders who have a bit of capital and are worth for us pursuing relationships with. And we've got live engagement programs in Seattle because it's our sister city and that's the beachhead into North America, but we've already got donors in Vancouver, San Fran, LA and New York, so we're looking to push into there. And we're just working on our eastern seaboard of Australia strategy as well.
Cool. And I heard Vancouver and
So Tyler,
Tel Aviv.
it's I wonder whether you two are better to have an offline chat about a lot of this,
I'd love to. Yeah.
which I think would be really useful because it may be something you can get involved in.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Come and have a cup of tea. I'd love to have a chat.
And on that note, I reckon Tyler will move this, and noting, obviously acknowledging Humphrey's role as well.
Thank you for
And
that.
Mark's happy to second it. Any discussion? All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much for coming in.
No
That's
worries,
great.
thank you.
Cheers. Okay, we'll stop for 10 minutes now for a break, and then we'll be up with you guys. Cheers.